Eriwo ya o, mega wogi fani fani fa wogo remi. Eriwo ya o, eriwo ya, yagbayato. I greet you once again, my viewers all over the world. As I promised that I will be talking about Esu is not Satan. Esu is not Satan. And who is Esu? As I've discussed in my previous video on Oraisogbe Eshuba, I want you to watch that video. Oraisogbe Eshuba, who is Esu? Esu is never a Satan, as they have made us, or some of us, to believe that Esu is a Satan. No, Esu is not a Satan. And I will be explaining who is Esu today in this video. My name is Apostle Elder Festus Osairume Inobakai Igbinosu. My phone number is 070-311-54906. The other number is 080-567-43599. So I want you to try to subscribe my channel. Better still, I want you to also share the video. Let this video go far. Like and share, subscribe and like and share, as I always say. And if you have any question to ask me, feel free. Whatever question you have to ask me based on Ifa Oromila and your research. Based on Ifa Oromila and your research. Whether Ogu, Shango, Obaitala, Egbe, Olokun, night, whatever thing, that you are seeking for spirituality is what I'm here to really explain. So as I've said, Esu is never a Satan. Esu is not a Satan. These are two things here which I want the world to understand, because no matter, blindness can never be taken for an error. There is no blindness like ignorance. History is an intelligence that is more intelligent than every one of us, because it lasts longer. Silence should not be mistaken for consent. It is a sweet medicine for the heart. Generally speaking, the name Esu in relation to biblical Satan and Quranic Satan has become a serious controversy subject matter on social media and every other media today, even in some of our religious worshiping today. All this has really given me a great concern for me to really air out my own opinion and my view based on the understanding of Esu. Because some of the religious bodies have taken our dear Esu to be satanic. And these areas, I want the world or my viewer to understand that there is difference between this biblical Satan and our dear Esu. These are two different things. Yeah. So today, I want us to understand that in every aspect of Esu, we have to be able to understand that Esu has been able as Satan and Esu have no the same identity, or they have no the same comparison. These are two entities here, and they have different ideology. That is Satan, the Satan in the Bible, and our dear Esu in the Ephesians or in Ifa. What must have caused this confusion about the identity of these two controversial beings? To ascertain that, one must endeavor to see through the eye of history so as to cast out the ignorant blindness of our people. For clear understanding today, history teaches us that more than a century ago, a Yoruba boy of about the age of 12, named Ajayi, was captured as a slave in the ancient small town of Sheyin in the present Oyo State, Nigeria, by the slave riders and traders, and eventually got trained by the missionaries as a clergyman, that is, as a pastor, a teacher. After the obligation of slave trade, he later translated English Bible to Yoruba language. With lot of mistakes, with lot of erroneous and mischievous translations of meaning of the Yoruba spiritual, conceptual, and ideological, trying to devilish Esu. You understand? And this has been the idea of the foreigners or the Western world religion, trying to belittle or devilish our dear traditional deities. And for example, this issue which we are talking about now, the same Ajayi Crowther was able to translate that issue is our oh dear, that Satan is our oh dear issue. Satan and Esu are two different entities or two different bodies here. One will be tempted to ask, what about a boy of 12 years, just 12 years old boy, knows about Esu at the time when he was not a Babalawo or trained as a Babalawo, 12 years, or he was not a son of Awo or a child of an Esu devotee. And definitely it must have been as a result of ignorance. Christianity induced mischief and ego consciousness of being the one who did the translation of English Bible to Yoruba language, with the primary objective to Christianize the Yorubas and the Benin. This very mistake and mischief of Bishop Samuel Ajayi Crowther is still hurting all lovers of Yoruba and the Benin ancient religion till this very moment. Because at every corner, you always see some people gathering, 2, 4, they gather together. Masha, he don't die. Who are they now marching? They will say, Esu. This Esu, what they are talking about, they don't understand what they are talking about. There is difference between Esu. There is difference between a Satan. And it must be corrected. And it is very important to know that it is not enough to continue to chant Esu. It's not a Satan. It's also very important that we tell the whole world, tell the future generation, children yet unborn, who Esu is. Who is Esu? Esu is not ghost. Esu is not the fallen angel which they call Lucifer. Esu is not a Lucifer. It's not a ghost. It's not a fallen angel. But Esu, take note, Esu is an important Orisa. An important Orisa in Yoruba and Benin religion. He is an Irimole. He is an excellent administrator of justice and police officer in the pantheon of deities who protect towns and villages. And our wars against evil mechanism, and it must be noted, Esu also favored those that perform the necessary and or appropriate Ebor and other forms of rituals. He is the carrier of sacrifice from one Orisa and to the other. He is the one that carry prayers or whatever request from the physical to the spiritual world. Meaning Esu intervene between this physical, taking from physical to the spiritual, and taking spiritual information to the physical, meaning he's a carrier. So, he is the carrier of sacrifice from one Orisa to the other and to the Ajeguns. Ajeguns, this means Idobo misfortunes, and also he do takes Ebor from the earth to heaven. He is as strong as war stone. Esu is as strong as the war stone. Okute tebite negworo. That is Esu. Okute tebite negworo. And is also called Adamosa, the god of light. Esu is not black. Esu has a yellow color. It's not black. It has a yellow color. It's called Adamosa, the god of light. The same with Esu. Yorubas and Benin towns has no reason to build wall of protection. With the protection of Esu, the walls of Yorubas and the Benin land will be protected by that deity right from the ancient time. Today, lot of my brothers and sisters, they are crying their villages because of Herdsmen invaders, invading their villages, invading their farm, raping their wives and women, slaughtering, killing here and there because they have neglected the importance and the usages of Esu. Esu could have been their protector, that in every village or community, this has been the warlord as a protector. If they could have been able to understand what I'm explaining now, they will be well protected against every invaders. The same in the Benin land, there is what we call Osunoregbon. Osunoregbon na to boy, ayabuevo, ayahevo. Emiane ade, oko ade, Osunoregbon, oni esusu, na ya bafua, anamiewe okwebeti laivo. Esusu na to boy, esu, keko Osunoregbon, ogun, to boy au ayaba vevo woe nana bewe evidan elavo voye evedenena, because you all have been brainwashed by the Western religion, and this is what I am here to correct this very error, because they will never strive as far as I'm alive. I am here to enlighten us so that we should understand the importance of Esu. So as I've said, Esu is a protector. Esu is the wall of protection. Similarly, in the oral message of Esu, as explained in the holy Odu, Ifa or Setrak Batetetetetetete. This has explained that. Orain Sogbe Hesugba has explained that. Akiesu has explained this. Osalogbe has explained this. Otrua Gudaja has explained this. So we should be able to understand all these facts. These are all names. Agberu, Osondara, as I've said, Esu has lot of branches. Esu Ondara, Esu Alelu, Esu Aragba, these are all branches of Esu. Agberu is there. So also, it is crystal clear that Esu is the most important Erimole to be consulted and offer worship to whenever it comes to the founding of a new towns and communities in the ancient and pre-colonial jobs. Yorubas and Benin land, Esu na Satan, unlike Esu of the Yoruba and Benin. Satan is a fallen agent, the Lucifer, that is Satan. Is a fallen agent, the Satan. Once glorified creature, he was not born of any human, but he uses human to manifest his evil nature, that is Satan. Satan is a spirit that no mortal, no man has ever seen with their naked eyes, but only Jesus Christ. Only Jesus Christ. Eve in the Garden of Eden, Job and Judah Iscariot, according to the biblical records, and it also happens spiritually, which I will discuss biblically in some of my videos time to come. Yoruba belief has a name for such a being prior to colonialism of Yoruba and Benin land, but certainly not Esun. It is called Ajegu, evil, spirit, Idobo, Eriko, this is Satan, Eriko, Ere, these are satanic, Atosi, these are satanic. And whoever such a spirit possessed to operate, they call such a person Eriko in the Do language, Eriko, only Eriko, or Eko Atosi, Eko BC, Eko Edan, Eko Rowegbe, Eko Kuta. These are all satanic, which is not Esu. Esu has the kind of food that he does not eat, and it has the other one that he eats, and which his devotees must not also eat. must not also eat. Biblical Satan is the head of evil principalities. These are the principalities that is said, the reign of principalities and powers that in the heavenly place. This is where that Satan is operating. These are the biblical Satan, but not our dear Esu. And has it control over powers over them. But the Yorubas and Benin Esu, though, also have what? A mischievous irumole. Esu is a persuasive orisa. It's a persuasive orisa. Esu and names in Yoruba and Benin land period to the introduction of Christianity and Islamic to the Yorubas and Benin land. Yorubas and Benin believes that the names to be given to a newborn baby have a serious significance to the family and the child that is born. Influence in his or her life, and the names are determined by the situation at home of the father's word, of the child's parents. These are circumstances that surround the birth of that child. The circumstances at that very time that determines the name of that child. That is today, that the birth of that child. But today now, nobody is even bearing those names. Evil baffles me. Some of the Obas in the Yoruba land, Oba Matthew, Oba Jacob, how can Oba in the Yoruba land bearing Oba Matthew, Oba Jacob, Oba Daniel? That is a taboo. It is an error. It's an error. I repeat, it's an error. So the same thing is that the circumstances that surround the birth of that child matters a lot, as I've said. So the Orisa has been worshipped by parents. Hence, a child that is born into Ifa devotees household is likely to be given a name with Ifa, Awo, Osun, and Odu. The same thing, Ifaluyi, Ifaluyi, Ifayemi, Igbinorobila, Ikeyomi. These are names, Ifa. These are names because the circumstances surrounding the birth of that child. If that child happens to be given birth to a family that they are devoted to Ifa or Romila, and the circumstances surrounding it relating to Ifa producing that child, Iyase, not Iyase, Eniatadose. These are names. Depends on how that child was being given birth to. So these names are very important. E.g., like Ifakule in Yoruba, Ifakule, Amasu, Adoseyan. So also in Esu devotees household, which is not an exception. E.g., Esuleke, Esusuya, Alesode. These are names given to the children who are under Esu devotees. And behold, it may interest you to know that those that are bearing or sharing names with Esu do not act devilishly. No, they do not act devilishly. Esu, 3 footpaths and the worship point in Yoruba and Benin land. Esu is not just an erumole that can be that can be pushed aside. No, by anyone at anywhere, but at the 3/4 part above, called Ojobe, Esu or Ojobe Lagbara among the Aworis in Lagos State housing in Ogun State. Hence, Esu Lalu, Ogiri Oko, Onile Orita. This Ojobe is usually located in the center of the towns or villages. The Babalawos also used to erect Esu and Agbagbi in front of their homes. This is what here in the do we call it Esu Egba. Esu Egba. Only Esu na koyi by ni daloge koyi Ezeke. Here koyi by or Ezeke, whatever area where we are, only Esu Egba. Esu Egba na to boy Ogwa Oji, and it's called Esu Agbagbi in front of your house. And likewise, some other Onis in front of their different shrine. A typical example of this is the popular Odugbalagba, located in the present Surulere areas of Lagos State, which used to be the worshiping point and shrine for Esu. Also known as Esu Bara Alagba by the Aworis, in particular owned by the Ujora ruling house of Lagos, now corrupted as Oju Elegba. These are the areas I want us to understand. Esu. Esu is a trickster. Esu can be able to turn white to black. When you are facing difficulties and things is not moving forward or backward or something, you are having a tough time, it is very necessary that you have to come for Esu. When you are able to appropriate or fix Esu, those difficulties or tough time you are passing through, you must have a perfect peace of mind. The issue must be resolved. As I've said, Esu has no patience. Esu is a protector, is administrator, is a warlord, is a defender, and is also a provider. These are the nature of Esu. My dear people, I have explained, Esu is never Satan. It's not a Satan. Esu is one of the Orisa. Out of 201 divinities that left heaven, Esu is the number 201. After the 200 divinities, Esu was added to them, which is 201. And that was why Esu never allowed other Orisa to claim superiority over him. There was a dragon of superiority complex. Esu never gave them a ground. That is why all divinities today or deities today, they recognize the presence of Esu. Who have never recognized the presence of Esu, Esu always give the problem. Those people who are belittling Esu, these are people that are giving Esu problem. Esu, they give it a problem. And these people who have been able to know the importance of Esu, Esu will only pave their way and they will only have a peace of mind. My dear people, viewers all over the world, my conclusion today: have you critically examined the Irumolets called Esu from different perspectives? I would like to believe that I have been able to contribute to the body of knowledge about Esu, and also convince and not confuse you that Esu is not a Satan. More grace. Abori, Aboye, Aboshishe, Eriwoya.